I'm definitely not being negative and saying like, I'm not organized, this, that, and the other. I'm like almost addicted to trying to become more and more organized and figure out what I can do better. And like every single face that I do now, I always like, what can I do better to make me more organized next time? And then on the business end, the biggest advice that I swear it just sticks with me forever and ever and ever is when you told me to get rid of all my notebooks and just condense everything down to one, because now no matter what it is that I need to write down, whether it be about my business, whether it be about chores in my house or planning my wedding, like it's all in one book.
So I am so excited that you are here. Allie, thank you so much for joining us. I have loved every minute of your journey. That has been so exciting to have you inside of our Beyond Common Success Essentials. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So Allie and I decided it would be really fun to live stream this for you guys because it's just a little snapshot of what goes on behind the scenes of some of the coaching that we do and some of the group stuff that we do inside of the Beyond Common Success Essentials. So Allie was one of the scholarship winners from Paul Mitchell, which I have been blown away by just how much I've seen a shift in where we started, because was that back in October or something, right?
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
And now just in like your approach to everything and like business, like I literally could see your thought wheel spinning, that you're thinking like a business owner. Like you've literally changed your identity, and I'm so proud.
Yeah.
So
yay, thank you.
I needed to invite you on. So before any coaching session, I'll always ask, like, what are the 3 obstacles or challenges that you want to work on today? So Allie, did you bring those for us today?
I did.
Hey. So what are you struggling with right now?
So as we've talked about in the past, organization is not my strong suit on the back end of things when it comes to my makeup kit and when I'm actually physically working, it's immaculate. But behind the scenes, like, social media, inputting all my receipts, like all of that type of stuff on the back end, I'm still struggling pretty hard with staying organized. I've gotten a lot better since before. When I first started, I kind of just came in hot and then kind of was like, I'm just going to figure it out later. So that's one.
Number 1. Okay. What's number 2?
Balancing a new routine. So I am very used to, of course, working at Paul Mitchell. I love it there. But of course, I've kind of scaled back a little bit to try to build my brand and kind of freelance and do makeup, bridal, and all that stuff. So I just went from having that form of like education schedule to, I guess, trying to reshift into a freelance only like schedule. And like, it's so free and without structure. And so it's like, I'm trying to find that balance and getting the structure that I need for my own business.
Yeah. Okay. That we're going to dive into that for sure.
Okay.
And then what was number 3?
I would say my website.
So like marketing, like just the website itself, or like marketing all the pieces.
Realizing that how important a website is versus just using social media too. So I kind of was just like advertising via social media, this, that, and the other, but starting to realize having an actual website where people can go directly to find me and book directly through the website is going to be a lot more valuable than social media. Social media is great, of course, and I'm mind blown with how much it's helped my business since just posting more and things like that. But yeah, just
Exciting.
all of that.
Well, thank you so much for being so open and just like honest, like, and allowing us to kind of take a look behind the scenes. I really appreciate that. And I think all three of these things are so useful to so many business owners, whether they've been in business a long time or are just getting started. So I feel like this is something that comes up at all different levels. And you first have to take a deep breath.
Yes.
Let's celebrate. Let's start with the celebration of how far you've come. Because like, even with organization, okay, let's look at, if you were to put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 before you started, even just like, before you started the Beyond Common Success Essentials, the training, what would you have given yourself on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh my God.
Like 1 being the worst, 10 being like, oh, I'm amazing.
Seriously, like a 2, 3.
So, and where would you put yourself now?
I'd say about a 5, 6. So I've improved.
Right. And so but that's what I want you to see. So it's like, what is this crazy level of OCD organization that you're striving for? Is that like, is there do you have a picture in your mind of what that looks like? Or are you just telling yourself that I'm not organized?
I am definitely giving myself affirmations, because I know whatever you tell yourself is that's what's, yeah, it is what it is. But I am, okay, sorry, backtrack a little bit. What was your question again?
Just like, are you focusing on this like like what are you focusing on when it comes to organization?
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah,
is it like
sorry.
that you have a clear vision of it, or are we just, because I mean, or are we just saying we're not organized? That's what I want to know. Like, where's that living?
I'm definitely not being negative and saying like I'm not organized, this, that, and the other. I'm like almost addicted to trying to become more and more organized and figure out what I can do better. And like every single face that I do now, I always like, what can I do better to make me more organized next time? And then on the business end, the biggest advice that I swear it just sticks with me forever and ever and ever is when you told me to get rid of all my notebooks and just condense everything down to one, because now no matter what it is that I need to write down, whether it be about my business, whether it be about chores in my house or planning my wedding, like it's all in one book and I can know exactly where to go. And it's like almost like I have a notebook of my brain, so to speak. And I can kind of like organize a little bit better and go back, and I always know where it's going to be.
Yeah, like you have, it's like a timeline, right? A stamp.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm so grateful that you every time that we were together on one of our group coaching too, you always were so consistent with that. So I'm so proud of you. It seems so strange, but like we just have a bunch of pieces of paper everywhere. So
yeah.
I always tell everyone, like, this is your blankie. Just take it with you to every room you go in and every location you go to.
Yep, exactly.
So now that's a huge piece, because that's like writing things down, right? So what is it that you want to attain with this level of organization? Like, what's the picture that you have in your mind?
So one thing with being more organized is because of social media, I have, Messenger, I've got Instagram inboxes, I've got, people like requesting it on Facebook. So I guess it's a good problem to have. I'm having lots of people, interested, but I would like to be able, like I've got photographers that are like I'm working with that are texting, like messaging and things like that. And what I would love to get organized with is making it so my online booking can kind of take over a lot of things off of me. So I want to like be able to kind of condense all of the inquiries into like one and be able to kind of like tunnel in and get through like a website and book online that way. And it automatically goes into my calendar. I'm not having to like move from this calendar to this calendar and like cross check all of them. I'm trying to condense all my calendars into one, and my means of communication, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So just, I'm going to repeat that back to you to make sure I have it correctly.
Yeah.
So you would like, and this is kind of like in tune with your new routine and your website, like the way I'm
Yes.
hearing it. So if you could have one consistent technology, whether it's a calendar or something we haven't invented yet, but one consistent technology that you can just say, here's the link, like everyone goes to the same place. Yeah. Okay. Instead of, oh, okay, what time did I tell her? And
exactly. Cause I find myself that I'm going to like, I'll even have, some people, texting me and then also emailing me. And so it's hard for me. I have to go back to this text message, see what we communicated. So I'm trying to build like a format and like forms and like a questionnaire type deal to actually submit to my brides and like photographers if need be, that like almost like a questionnaire going over skin, going over, and so everything can be in one place. It's just, I'm almost there, just not all the way yet.
When we spoke last time, you were working on this calendar thing a little bit. So what clarity like has happened for you? Is it just knowing now that you want it all in one place, or what other layers have you pulled back?
I guess, yeah, just trying to figure out what program works best. Like, in the beginning, I was just very impulsively like, I'm going to sign up for this. I'm going to sign up for this business thing. And, subscriptions that I don't even know if I needed them or not. I probably subscribed to like 3 different website builders that I didn't even realize, that doesn't make sense. So just, I guess, condensing that and trying to figure out what works for me, what system works for me, and then what like programs also work for me and my chaotic brain.
So much like the success you've had with writing it all down in one spot, my suggestion to you from what I've heard you say is it's the idea that it's everywhere. This is what creates the chaos, right? So can we just pick one way that you want to communicate so that everything is in that space, and then just build it all from there?
Yes. And that is, so I remember we were kind of talking about too. And so I'm actually been in the process of like moving things over to Square, because it seems to be for me the most user-friendly, and it kind of does a lot of like assistant work. Like it sends out, reminder text messages. So I don't have to worry about that. Like I can customize things. So I'm starting to like figure those types of things out. And, whereas before I was just doing everything and I am realizing I can't do everything on my own.
So so let's just, for the sake of, you've already done research and you're getting good results. Let's say we're going with Square, like just like hypothetically. Yeah. Okay, we're going with Square. We're going to go all in. And I mean all in the sense that even if over here someone comes in and says, oh my God, Allie, there's this amazing thing, but you're like 85% built on Square, that you're like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's kind of the all in that you need to be. Yeah. For the moment, right? Because it's like
just for the moment.
Pull at, right? It's kind of like the Notebook. It sounded crazy, but it's like so simple. It's a game changer for you. So if it's Square, then we can go all in on building up the website, making sure part of your new routine of being a business owner and leader, right? And I'm doing the air quotes because we're going to dive into that more, right? Like, it's like, okay, Square's our jam. We're going to go all in. Yeah. So what that could look like for you is right now, if you're working on a form, you complete the form, have it linked, right, to Square. And I'm just going to shoot from the hip, right? Link to Square. If people reach out to you on Facebook Messenger, Instagram, that you say, I would love to work with you. Here's a link to book, or here's the link to, right? And that's going to take them there. So you're just controlling the conversation. You're still like, there are all these moving pieces that the more technology keeps coming at us, there's going to be multiple layers. But if you're still controlling your system of how you handle it, people will be like, oh, cool. She's already got this taken care of. Yeah. So all you might at the end of your busy shift, just send the link, send the link, send the link.
That's what I would just love to get to.
Yeah. So you're simply just, making this, here's the system. Now, I think we've talked about this before, but it's like the funnel, right? The top of the funnel is all these different ways to come in.
Yeah.
I meet you at a party. You do my hair for my friend's wedding, but I'm getting married next year. So you're doing a photo shoot, and I'm like, oh, there's all these different type of ways, right? And then there's all the digital media ways.
Yeah.
So you can't control how people come in, and we don't want to, because we want to welcome receiving them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm loving all of it. I'm just like, I think I'm just like shocked at like, honestly, how quickly I'm getting like business. I was not expecting it. And I'm like, and a lot of it is just because I was never comfortable posting on social media. I'm trying to be more active on social media. And I'm just like, I'm just, wow. I'm very shocked with, because I've been connecting with so many different people. Now that I have time to be able to connect with so many different people, it is all about like connections. Like I meet this photographer, I'm working with, their client. And then that, like you said, that client is getting married. And then that client, I'm doing their makeup for like, maybe like a boudoir shoot, and then, they're getting married, and then I can book their wedding, next year. Cause we've already kind of seen, compatibility in art styles, so yeah. Sorry, kind of rambled, but.
Oh, but I'm so proud of you, because that was like, I even remember you saying in one of our first like sessions working together that you were like, well, I use social media because you're pretty open, but you hadn't really been putting yourself in your business in the story. Yes. And I love hearing that little shift has completely changed the game for you, that you're like, I do this is everywhere. Like that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's awesome. And I'm like, wow, but I'm really, really happy about it. It's just, I'm like, I just need to make sure. I wish I would have been a bit more organized in the beginning, but of course I wasn't expecting this. So I guess I have to expect the unexpected.
Right? Like you were inviting it in, because right. But yeah. So if Square is it, that's the thing. Like we can always change our plan, but only if we have one. So if we plan that Square is our jam and we're going to do all this, great. So let's map out the steps of what you need to get done to have it feel like it's all going to one place. Like it's going to come in from every channel, and we want that. But exactly, so that you're not, what day did she send this? Right. That's like 4 hours down a rabbit hole. Yeah. That you could be earning money or building out your website, or, doing this stuff. Exactly. That you do. So if we have all these different ways for people to come in, but they're all going to Square, what are the steps that you need to get you there? Yeah, yes, I did kind of start to build a like temporary, like Square, like it comes with like a temporary site. So I'm using that, and that is helping a few people book online that way. And so I'm creating like a bundles to try to make it so that photographers, they can then just go, I can send them my link, and then they can just automatically go and look to see what my availability is versus, texting me like, hey, are you available this day? So I have like that kind of temporarily set up. The challenge I am having is because I did start to move my domain over to Square to try to do build a website, because I have allyjartistry.com. But I don't know how to like change the DNS settings or something. There's like something that's not connecting the two, and I'm having a trouble with that. And did you reach out to Square to ask them? Yeah, and it was just like, I'm a night owl. It was like in the middle of the night, and it was through like the little chat. So this was very recent challenge. So what my experience has been is that either ask Square how to get your DNS, because is it through GoDaddy or something like that? It was through Namecheap. Namecheap. Namecheap will do it for you as well. Okay. Ask them if you can point your domain to your website that's now being like hosted by Square. Okay. And they'll do it for you. Okay. If that doesn't work, then you may have to go on like Fiverr or one of those like hire someone a one-off thing
Okay. Yeah.
and
Okay.
say, I need this. And then it's like one cost. You're asking for a very simple technology, one thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that person, it's like their wheelhouse as much as makeup is yours, right? Like, don't waste your
Right.
time like I did. Do not do that.
That's what I think I'm doing. I'm like spending so many hours on trying to figure this out. And I feel like I just need to like hire someone just real quickly. Can you just like figure this out for me? And I can build up my website from there.
Yeah. Like, so it's like, get that connected.
Mhm.
And then you can be mapping out in a notebook like this, like in your main notebook, you can be mapping
Mhm.
out what you want the pages of your website to be. As I strongly urge you to do that
Okay.
before you open up the software and just start playing around in there. The marketing gurus call this wireframing, but for our creative kind of brains, it literally is like just your map.
Okay.
Have it
That
written
makes a
out.
lot of sense because it is overwhelming. And
It'll save you hours.
see, you just know my brain.
Well, I just love you because you're always so open and honest about what's happening. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's either I've made the mistake or I've coached people that have done. So I just feel like, yeah, that's all. I just, you know me, I just observe a
Yeah.
lot, pay attention.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like, write it all out. Cause I don't want you to be stuck thinking like you have to wait till this is connected. You can still be making progress here.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It feels like
Yeah.
an obstacle, like let's come back from it.
Okay.
off.
Perfect.
So yeah, so I would, if you have to, just hire someone, okay? Or
Yeah.
then start writing out exactly what you want it to look like. Is there anything else within organization that besides bringing all that stuff together, is there anything else that's like popping up for you that you want to talk about?
No. I think I've got the tools. It's just I'm in the process of doing it now.
So just, I just want to repeat that back. So if you figure out the DNS settings through either Namecheap to Square or hire someone, so you have two possible solutions, right?
Right.
Either one will work. So it's just like if you get stuck in one area, go to the next.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, you can start writing out what you want each page to look like. Like, here's all the different services I'm going to offer, and here's how much time they take to book. And then here's the back end of how many, you know,
That's what I need to do.
what days it's facing you. And you know what I mean? And we can even go
Yeah.
deeper than that but those are like top level.
Okay. Yeah. That makes so much sense. Cool.
So how does that feel to you? Like,
Good.
Because I'm like, I just felt the energy go, oh.
Yeah. Seriously. It's something that simple that there's always just like, it's something tiny missing,
Yeah,
you know, like that just makes work smarter, not harder.
absolutely. And I want to remind you too, you still have access to the Beyond Common Success Essentials training for the next year. So anytime you're feeling
Yes.
stuck and we can't reach out, I mean, because I know you're an idol, literally put it in, put in one of the sections like, oh, organization, whatever.
Mhm.
It will help trigger like, oh yeah, I just have to make a plan. I just have to write out the first 3 steps.
Mhm. Yes.
Don't forget, like that's there for you to self-coach when you need it.
For sure. For sure.
Then you had said balancing the new routine and
Yes.
truly being like a business owner. Is there anything specific? Because I'm always like, wow, this is one of the major things in our industry right now that I'm like
Yes.
so passionate about helping people. Like,
It's just really hard because I'm so unorganized, it creates a domino effect of then I'm spending hours on something so simple, and you know, I could cut hours in half if I just was more organized or something.
so let's talk about that again. So we just went over organization and
Yes.
you were feeling like, it's better.
Yeah.
Well, what's a new story you can tell yourself about organization?
What do you mean, a new story?
Because I just heard you say I'm not organized, but that's not true anymore. That isn't true. right? It's
Yeah.
not true. So maybe,
right.
so what's a new story we could say over here?
So it's just more so balancing work life and personal life, trying to make sure that I can be, and I will be organized enough to be able to not to just create myself a routine where I'm able to do like business things. So like I dedicate like Monday to like, I need to come to the studio and I need to make sure that I'm sending emails, this, that, and the other. But the other challenge that I'm finding too is it's also hard to balance because it's almost like if you don't respond like right away to some of these inquiries, they'll be on to the next person. And so, I mean, I haven't really had too much of issues of that, but it's just, I think because of today, everybody wants to know like what's going on right now. I'm finding myself still not giving myself the time to, I'm going to respond tomorrow. Do you see what I'm saying?
Not the instant, because like, you know, that we're all like instant gratification.
Exactly.
Oh.
And I know like how I feel. And so it's just hard on my, like, to find that balance. Cause I'm also planning a wedding right now. So I'm like, I want to know, like, you know, I want to hear from the vendors like right away. But at the same time, I also know that they've got other things going on, families, this, that, and the other. So
I'm just putting this out there and you can, so once we have Square all set up, how you want it, and you have a link that you can just send to anybody, no matter if they come in through Facebook, Instagram,
yes,
pigeon messenger. I don't know, like, I'm just like a bird landed on your house. I don't know.
Yeah.
No matter which way, there is a automation within the messenger that you like, so that when you're done working and you literally, I'm like, I am mom and I'm spending time with my son and my fiance, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it, just for your own like mental self-love care.
Yes.
You turn that on because you can just have the link to where they need to go anyway.
Yeah. And then they can, okay. Yes. I just need to set that up. Yeah. So it's a domino effect.
Yeah. So it's like so the one thing I heard you say, and I just want you to kind of wrap your brain around what this might be like. Could you switch the word I will to I am getting more and more organized every day? And say that and see, how does that feel?
Yeah. I am getting more organized every day.
Like, it's definitely more empowering, right? Because I will still keep it like you're chasing it, like, but every day, even if you do one thing, you are like, you're growing, and that's when you celebrate.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely am. Every day I do, you know, work on, even if it's just one little thing that I'm able to accomplish. Like I have to like allow myself to like, even if it's just one little thing, like sending an away message, I have to allow myself that that's okay.
Right. Cause then you'll just check it the next day. Yeah. And that's still that's instant gratification enough that, oh, thank you for telling me what I need to do. Okay. I'll go check out your site.
Yeah.
And if I'm ready to book, I'll book then, or I may have another question, then I'll reach out when you are back.
Right.
But you've taken care of it. You know, it still feels like good customer service.
Yes, absolutely.
So having those organizational pillars in place that allow everything to go to one place, and then deciding what days, like if it's going to be Monday that you're working on your business, you know, maybe it's 2 hours every Monday that you're working on building out the site until it's done. Maybe, you know, I'll spend 15 minutes at the end of every working day responding to emails. Or, I mean, I don't know, only you know what is good for you. So it's like first making that plan, right? What do you want to do every day? So it's just bite-sized chunks instead of it feeling like, oh my God, I have a whole month's worth of work to do, and I'm not going to have a weekend.
Right. Just kind of splitting it all up. Okay.
How does that feel to you?
Good. I just need to, I'm going to create basically a schedule for myself, just like I would, you know, for anything else.
Right. Like you've done it for the students forever, right? I literally was just using them earlier. Where did I put them? But these are fun little things. And I think they're sometimes like good for, they're sometimes good for like menus or whatever, but like Monday through Friday, like map it out and like just put it in pen. are the days I do that. Some like kind of weekly schedule that it's just like 2 things a day or something to start with.
Right.
And then you can time block your schedule so that would be time that's blocked out. So once you link to Square, like people can't book then.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because it's not already time, you know, that you're working on your business, just not in it.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to create a schedule for myself, create an away message with link. Okay. Yeah.
So the other thing about balancing the new routine, business owner, this always makes me go back to, you know, like we all wish sometimes, I do anyway, like that our mom was around to make sure we woke up on time, to slap the cookie out of our hand. Like no one's coming to rescue us is basically what I'm saying.
No, now I'm the one that's got to do that.
Right, exactly. So like, it's funny because when my kids say, oh, like I was just away for the past week, and my sons were like telling me how they were on electronics way too much. They stayed up way too late. And I'm like, oh, no, are you guys mad that mommy's home and now the rules are in effect? They're like, no, we needed them. Like, which is so cute. Yes. But it's like,
even kids need structure and routine.
And so do we, but we sometimes like the rebel in us, the creative energy makes us think we have to push against it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you build some structure around it, that's the thing I think happens often. Like, where if you don't decide to get organized and come up with a really clear new routine, that's why when people, like if people leave a salon company where they've been an employee for 10 years and decide to rent a chair, and then they kind of fail and they're like, I don't understand. I was busy. I have clients. It's because like some people just need a boss.
Yeah.
That is not you. You were designed to be a boss. You're so clear about your journey. But I think like some people just have to welcome the fact that maybe you do need a boss and you're going to earn more money working for someone than on your own. But you're taking action and really understanding that, no, I've got to be my own mommy right now. I've got to be the mommy to everybody in my house. I got to be the mommy to my clients. And you're building a routine and system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
With that discipline and structure, that's where you have the freedom to have fun and it's kind of more adventurous. But you have to have it planned first.
For sure. For sure.
Does that like resonate with you?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just like, there are some people, and you've seen, like, especially being at the school, you can tell which personalities are like, maybe they don't know what to do, but they're really want to figure it out. Like, they should be business owners. But there's a lot of people that just because it's a trendy thing to do right now, it's not for you. And you're going to be, well, don't do that.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And so I think it's funny, like just to kind of stay in the lane that feels the best.
Yes.
But when we build structure into our life, there's so much more freedom. I always say that, like, I wish I learned discipline way earlier. Cause I'm like, wow, I think I would have accomplished so much more. Because once I created some discipline and structure that I actually had more freedom. But we naturally think it's the opposite. So it's like, we have to talk our brain into it.
For sure. I'm trying to write that down. When you build structure in your life, you build more freedom.
Ooh, look at us. Sure. We've got like the good, that's a good little social media post for us, huh? That was a little snappy. So you building this organization that we just talked about, and now you have a list of ideas, and then and like just getting clear on what days you'll do it, right? And the thing is that once you plan it out and put it on your day of the week you're doing it, now if something comes up, you can move it. It's not set in stone, but you can only change your plan if you have a plan.
Right, exactly. For sure.
Any other questions around balancing the new routine and being an amazing new business owner?
I don't think so. No.
So then the third thing that you had talked about was the website versus social media. So if you're just like what we talked about from the organizational level, if we have
Yeah.
all these people coming in from different social channels, but
I can
you're
have it all go to,
square. Yeah.
yeah.
Cause that's the thing, like, it's almost like social media, this, and you know my journey. Like I went back to college. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm getting a degree. I didn't need to get a degree, but I got a certificate in marketing because I kept hiring all these people, and it wasn't their fault, but they failed me because I didn't know how to train them. Where
Mm-hmm.
I could train people to do great hair and grow salon services because I knew that really well. So
Right.
I realized that was my mistake. So I had to go back top level and get a marketing certification so that I could hire the right people. Well, turns out that I love marketing a lot more. And that's
Right.
really what I help my clients with, which is so funny. But you know, how many years ago was that where you're like, Tracey, you couldn't do that? I mean, I'm like, I forgot that I couldn't do all that stuff because I just was
It's
like,
so funny though.
what do I
Yeah.
have
I
to
love
learn?
it.
So going back, it's like we don't need to post on social media at all
Mm-hmm.
unless we have our business systems in place.
Right.
So that's, I think, the shift where some people, especially in our hair and beauty industry, think that social media is a strategy. And it is
Mm-hmm.
not. It is not a strategy. It is one element to how we show up to attract our ideal clients.
Right.
So,
And that's one thing I was trying to get more present on social media, because I've been, like I told you, was going to like bridal shows, with the perfect veil, and like kind of building the business that way. And just like working through the perfect veil, I'm kind of creating my own brand as well. And like, we're kind of like tag teaming together as well, and like kind of building our companies up. And so now I'm just like, well, now I need, my own like website and things like that to kind of channel so I can help build that up.
yeah. And so do you have clarity on what you need in your website? Like, or is that still a little bit sticky for you?
No, I think I think I'm not even going to try. I think I'm just going to literally hire someone just to do it for me.
Okay.
Because I'm spending way too much time on it, and I just can't. So I think I know that about me. I'm going to just hire someone to do the website. And then from there, I can kind of like knock it out as far as rebuilding that. But in the meantime, I'm definitely going to map out the website, because it is overwhelming when I'm looking at the website builder and I'm like kind of picking and choosing where I want it to go off of like what template I already see. But I think I do need to kind of create my own vision.
Yeah, because even if you hire someone, right?
Yeah.
You don't give them clear direction.
Exactly.
Right. So even if it is writing it all out on like a craft project, you can literally like write it all out on paper and then stick some photos of how you kind of want it to look and take photos. Like it doesn't always have to be done digitally if that's what it's lost.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
So I think that is so wise, because you can attract more clients doing what you love than and just pay for it. Like no matter what the cost, you can like budget yourself for it.
Yes, exactly.
Love it. Anything else that you're feeling unclear about when it comes to the website versus the social media piece?
No.
That feels clear for you?
Yeah.
I've
got a plan.
Great. So what are the 3 things that you're going to do? Like I would say, like in the next 72 hours, what 3 actions are you going to take?
So the first thing I'm going to do is create like a schedule for one. I'm going to create a schedule for myself. And the second thing I'm going to do is create an away message with my link to be able to direct people to the link. And then the third thing is to hire someone to transfer my DNS settings and all that stuff.
Yay. Well, that sounds like a crystal clear plan. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions or anything for me?
I don't think so.
I'm so excited and I can't wait to see what happens next. If you were recommending the Beyond Common Success Essentials training to anyone, what would be the things that you would tell them? Like, what do they need to know? Because like there's stuff like you're like, I wish I would have known this so long. Like,
Yeah.
right? How can we share it with the world since it's so helpful?
So, like I had mentioned before, like I never really knew like the value of like having a business coach was, and like, I didn't know how to have a business coach. So like, for one that, but I just feel like that it just gives me a structure, and I love that the structure is also about creating boundaries between yourself and your business, and like adding like affirmations and love into your business as well. Like I like how you kind of merge the two worlds of that together. And I just feel like that is going to be life-changing for business owners in the future, for whether it be just, small businesses or major companies, as long as you're adding that like piece of like creating boundaries for yourself and being like a successful business owner, you also have to take care of yourself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that is, I feel, is like super invaluable.
Well, I think I shared this with you before, but I can't remember if I have, because that was why, like, I literally, to the outside world, I'm like, here we are on the cover of successful salon magazines and local magazines. And I was crying on the floor between my garage and my laundry room because I couldn't tell my clients. I couldn't tell my team.
Mm-hmm.
All of my family and friends are clients. So I had no one to talk to. I couldn't tell my husband. And I was a new mom. Mm-hmm. So I don't want anyone laying there suffering on the floor. It's like, at all. It was like dark and lonely times.
Right.
So once I figured out the sort of methodology, the methodology of breaking through that so that you could be successful and have a life, a quality of life that you love, I had to share that with everyone because the dark days are what led to creating it. So I was like, okay, God put this on my heart for a reason, and it was not for me. Mm-hmm. It was to help everyone else. And so I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I got to figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, you did it.
Oh, it's so funny thinking back, because you're right. I remember being at the school and saying, I don't know how to even use social media. What should I do?
Yes. And now like, it's just amazing.
So you are amazing. Can you share with us how people can hire you for makeup? And I love that you said those boudoir shoots, like there's Valentine's Day coming up. That's a great gift for some hubbies. So, or themselves. I mean, it's like a great way to show yourself some love. So I love that idea. How can people get a hold of you?
So, I am on Instagram, Ali J Artistry. So Instagram, Facebook, as of right now, of course.
We'll add the link later, right? We're going to add the link to this video.
Yes, we're going to add the link, and then you'll be able to book with me directly through there as well. So, yeah.
Well, I am so proud of you. Thank you so much for being here, and
thanks for having me.
Continue the growth, continue reaching out. I love helping you, and post in, like, we have the group Facebook, which is the Beyond Common Business Secrets. Continue to post in there, because that is so helpful too. There are people, like, if you have something in the moment, there are so many amazing business owners and entrepreneurs in there that are just like, oh, I want to help. Like, whoever has the answer, there's great people in there. So definitely consider checking that out.